More than 20 suspected gang members indicted on federal RICO charges, part of the Justice Department's 2-year investigation into the Trinitarios' alleged crimes across the state. Federal prosecutors in Boston announcing charges against 26 gang members today, involving 5 murders and 19 attempted murders over the past decade in Essex County. Over the past 2 years, 56 members have been charged in 11 murders and 30 attempted murders dating back to 2017.
The defendants charged today are alleged to be members of Lawrence, Haverhill, and Boston chapters of the Trinitarios and part of a large violent drug and firearm trafficking enterprise that spanned across state lines from Massachusetts to Maine and New Hampshire. Today's charges allege that the leader of the Lawrence chapter and other senior members of the Trinitarios are responsible for 5 homicides and 19 attempted murders.
Prosecutors say the Dominican gang is organized in its recruitment efforts, targeting legal and illegal immigrants from the Dominican. The defendants were also allegedly involved in drug and firearm trafficking that, as we just heard, went as far as Maine and New Hampshire.